Hello everyone, my name is UltimoFive, and today we're going over Sevagoth's Shadow, the Shade Reaper. Sevagoth's Shadow is intertwined with Sevagoth and comes built in when a player obtains him. And he comes with 2 V polarity slots plus a V aura slot, and because of this the builds on him will require 3 Forma. Advantages for Sevagoth's Shadow would be that he has very high armor and above average sprint speed. Disadvantages however for his Shadow would be that he has a very low shield pool and a low energy pool. Shadow's first ability expands its reach to tether then reel in all enemies within range. All grasped enemies are lifted and rapidly float towards the ability's cast location where they clump into a flailing mass. This ability is great for bringing in enemies that are far away from the player for easy eradication, or for synergy use with Sevagoth's Soul Harvester build. This is really all there is to this ability. It is a simple pull, but is very useful. Shadow's second ability lunges him forward across a battlefield towards an aimed direction or dashes through a targeted enemy that is within range. Upon contact with an enemy, it deals massive radiation damage and knocks down the enemy while healing Shadow's health pool. This ability is extremely useful due to keeping Shadow alive for as long as possible or range gapping if enemies are too far from the player. Again, a fairly simple ability, but yet is extremely useful for survivability. Shadow's third ability lets loose a harrowing wail to leave death marks upon all enemies within range. All enemies marked then take increased damage from all sources for the duration of the mark. This ability is good but has a flaw. It's really expensive. Shadow's energy pool without any energy mods is 150 energy at max rank, and Death's Harvest requires 75 energy. This means the player can only use the ability twice before requiring more energy, which in my opinion makes the ability a bit bad. His claws do plenty of damage, so I find that Death's Harvest isn't even useful. However, in the very late game in the Seal path, it does become more useful, just early game not so much. Shadow's fourth ability transfers itself back into its physical form, Sevagoth. This ability will also autocast if the user's death well becomes emptied, Shadow receives fatal damage, or Sevagoth's body enters a nullification sphere. This is the exact opposite of Sevagoth's Exalted Shadow ability, in which instead of Sevagoth transferring to Shadow, he just returns to Sevagoth's frame. There's nothing more else to say on this ability. The strength-focused build for Sevagoth's Shadow utilizes a large increase of strength and a medium increase of efficiency with small increases of range and duration. The build's flex slots are adaptation or streamline and works very well in the late game. The differences between the two builds shown is that one is the cheaper main build and the other is a more expensive build with the use of an Umbra Forma and an extra normal Forma. It isn't necessary, but if a player wants preparation on their Shadow, then they must put these extra resources in. Other than that, it is just a build that focuses on ability strength with Shadow in order to have more lifesteal and damage for his second ability, and more damage debuffing with his third ability. The range-focused build for Sevagoth's Shadow utilizes an extremely large increase to range and a medium increase to efficiency and strength with a small increase of duration. The build's flex slot is Augur Reach or Streamline and works well in the late game. There is a more expensive version to this build as well, like the previous ones. However, this build focuses on range for either gap closing with Shadow's second ability, or with his first ability to pull tons of enemies into one clump spot for easy killing. The builds for Sevagoth focus on his third ability Gloom in the Vitality Drainer build, and focuses on his first 2 abilities Reap and Sow in the Soul Harvester build. These builds work well in the late game and even into the Seal path, in which they assist in a multitude of situations. If you'd like more information on Sevagoth, then make sure to check out my other guide on the frame, where I go into much more detail on Sevagoth himself. The elements for the Sevagoth Shadow clause follows Toxin for the Corpus, Viral for the Corrupted and Grenier, and Gas or Viral Heat for the Infested. I won't go into much detail in this guide, however these builds work well in the late game and in the Seal path, in which it can decimate all who stand in the player's way. If you'd like more information on the Shadow clause, then make sure to check out my other guide on the weapon, where I go into much more detail on the weapon. Intensify, Steel Fiber, and Vitality in place of their umbral counterparts if one doesn't have them. Arcane Guardian, upon being damaged, 15% chance for 900 armor for 20 seconds. Arcane Energize, upon energy pickup, 60% chance to replenish energy to nearby allies. Arcane Grace, upon health being damaged, 9% chance for 6% health regen for 9 seconds. Arcane Eruption, upon energy pickup, 100% chance to knock down nearby enemies. Arcane Fury, on critical hit, 60% chance for 180% melee damage in melee weapons for 18 seconds. And Arcane Strike, on hit, 15% chance for 60% attack speed to melee weapons for 18 seconds. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more guides on Warframe, please click the like and sub buttons to let me know. And as per usual, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.